Hello, my name's Carmen and I am the clinic coordinator here at Switch On Health. And today I'd like to thank and welcome Ross Walter for joining me today for a quick chat. Ross is one of our clinic supervisors here at Switch On Health. So I just wanted to chat with you today, Ross, to get your point of view for advice basically for preparing students for starting their clinic hours and from the supervisor's point of view, what works, what expectations you have and all that sort of thing. So welcome and thank you.
Thank you. And thanks for inviting me and thanks for asking to have a bit of a chat.
Yeah, nice. So first of all, what made you choose to be a clinic supervisor for students?
Other than the fact that you asked me.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, look, I've been offering mentoring services, clinical observations for students and new graduates for a number of years anyway, and even mentoring for more experienced practitioners too. So it's just it's what I do anyway. So if I can help you you guys, your students, and Switch On Health. I'm happy to do that. I've known yourself and many of the other staff and the founder of Switch On Health for a long time. So I'm really happy to help support you guys and your students.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. And what expectations do you have for students coming into clinic?
It's a tricky one because I realize that students all have different levels of knowledge and health knowledge and life experience, and so I understand the in this industry you can only learn so much at college, and you haven't and students haven't completed their entire education at this point when they start looking at coming into clinic. So the real learning will be on the job with real clients, and so that's I understand there is perhaps an expectation there, but also there's I understand there's some limitations in that as well. So, but the main expectation, I guess, is that I have as a student is someone that's willing to learn and willing to learn a lot more. It'll be a huge learning curve being in clinical practice as opposed to being in virtual classrooms. So the priority of this industry really is to help people improve their health and their lives. So be keen to continue learning and ask a lot of questions on anything if you're unsure of anything, or just want to know why or do or say certain things or recommend certain things to them or to clients. Also expect, I guess, the students to come away from this being a lot more confident in becoming a practitioner and becoming more excited to becoming a practitioner after seeing real clients and seeing how a clinic works, and sort of knowing that yes, they can do this, they can become a great practitioner.
Yeah, excellent. So yeah, really obviously helping with their confidence and watching them grow, I guess, into having that confidence in their own ability to be able to do that, and helping to bring that out in them as well. That's awesome. And so in what ways did you feel that you were able to help the students in preparing them as a future practitioner? Obviously confidence. Anything else?
Yeah, that's a huge one. So I guess there's probably half a dozen sort of main areas of how I feel I'll be able to help with with the students becoming a practitioner. Certainly around questioning techniques with clients, which questions to ask, how to ask them in specific ways. And I usually joke about this. My questions are very loaded in ways to incriminate the clients into telling me what I really want to find.
Yeah.
But that's just some things that you will learn what to look for in their answers. So sometimes it's not obvious in their answers what what they're trying to get across, but you're trying to dig through the rabbit hole they're trying to find what's going on, what to look for in their answers. So it's not just a case of asking one question, getting their answer, asking another question, getting their answer, but thinking about their answer, and often taking you way down a different rabbit hole of questioning. So it's definitely not a set protocol. Yes, there's some guidelines of questions to ask, but it is not set in any way. Dealing with a range of clients and their personalities, from the very quiet and trying to really drag information out of them to those that the verbal diarrhea and just never stop talking, or won't stay on track with the questioning and answer them in the way that you want. So learning to stay in control of consultation as a practitioner is going to be really important as well.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of psychology there too.
Yeah.
Seeing a wide variety of cases with different symptoms and conditions, different diagnoses, with a range of acute versus chronic symptoms and conditions, and getting a really broad experience with quite a number of issues, which they'll likely see when they are in clinical practice themselves.
Yeah.
Also analysing the case. So after you've actually had for example, the initial consultation or sometimes subsequent ones as well, being able to objectively analyse everything about the client, their case, their symptoms and conditions, as there can be some very, very complex cases of multiple symptoms and conditions that that they have. So you need to see them as a whole, not just, okay, they've got this and this, or sometimes a dozen different things. You've got to see that everything as a whole. So analysing the whole case. So if you can understand what's going on with complex cases, which is what I do tend to see a lot of, you can deal with anything. You can deal with the easy ones and the simple ones, but if you can deal with the complex ones and have a protocol or a process around that, it's going to be really helpful. Another thing that I do a lot of, and I don't think really too many other practitioners do, is on the root cause analysis. So my belief and my focus in my clinical practice is to help clients and turn their symptoms and conditions around. I have to find all of the root causes of all of their symptoms and conditions. So that might sound like common sense, but it's not how most natural practitioners work or how they learn in college, and it's certainly not how doctors work. They're basically just treating or managing the symptoms. And so I find that there's usually only a few real root causes of all of the symptoms and conditions in each client. So my job is to try and find all of those, and then include those in all of those root causes, and we're treating those root causes in the treatment plan and the recommendations, along with symptom relief as well. I have developed a unique root cause process for doing this, for finding all of the root causes in each person, which is, I believe, the best way to practice and get the best results for clients. So that's what I do that's very different. And as you probably know, I'm a major nerd for pathology analysis and blood test results with clients, and it's a major thing that I do with my clients, because I tend to find that 99% of new clients that I see are coming to see me because they've been to see their GP who ran some blood tests and basically said, oh, there's nothing wrong or everything's normal in their bloods. And that's just not possible, because people don't go to see the GP for a cup of tea and a chat. They're going because they've got symptoms and issues and they're not feeling well. So I did a lot of training on interpreting bloods in a more holistic and nutritional way, and I always find it's several things that are obvious in the bloods which really show me what's causing the symptoms and conditions in each person. And then I explain to them why, linking that back to their symptoms and conditions. And this gives me a huge amount of credibility and a massive advantage over the GP who didn't find anything. And clients will keep coming back to me that way. So, so I have done a lot of training for practitioners on pathology analysis. So, the students will learn a lot about that with me as well. And a lot of other areas, so about consultation structures, how to figure that out in your clinical practice, different treatments and products, clinical tools that I might use, marketing, communication, and building their business before they even graduate and before they complete their training. So there'll be a whole broad range of knowledge and skills that they'll learn in that time in the clinic with me.
Yeah, that's amazing. All of those practical skills and, developing on the, the content that they've learned, but putting it into practice and tweaking around and, yeah, love it. So what do you feel are the most helpful things that a student can be doing to be an asset to you and your clinic?
Just be keen to learn many new things, which I've mentioned before.
Yeah.
Bring an open mind and an open textbook or an open notebook to take lots of notes so your brain doesn't get overloaded with all the information. Just be prepared for really anything. Every day is going to be very different. Each case is going to be different. Mainly, be prepared, be punctual, or even preferably early each day to be on time for the consultations. Really, the main things I think they're going to be the most helpful for a student. Just learn as much as possible, soak it all in like a sponge.
Yeah. Awesome.
And take that away with them back to the studies again, and hopefully give them a lot of ideas and thought and what they can do and how to do that, how to use those things when they're in practice as well.
Yeah, definitely. And what did you find to be the most rewarding aspect of being a supervisor?
Well, just being able to share my knowledge and experience with others, whether they're students, they're graduates, or even other practitioners, and then seeing how, and you said this earlier about how these students grow and how the students transition to be a practitioner and how they can grow and build their business and help other people as well. So if I can give advice on things that perhaps they should be doing before they see their clients, so even to start thinking about their business while they're still a student. Also maybe on the things that they shouldn't do. So maybe learn from my mistakes, and I've learned from my mentors' mistakes as well, but also learning from my mentors too. So I'm sharing that knowledge from my mentors also.
Yeah.
And so we can get all the benefits and hopefully avoid the pitfalls and things that that didn't work or didn't quite work out. Then I'm very happy being able to share that information.
Yeah.
So I think the world needs more natural health practitioners. The medical model isn't working, especially for safe acute treatments and especially chronic cases. So being a small part of the education and training of more practitioners, will always give me a huge amount of satisfaction.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, that's great. And any final words of advice that you have for students embarking on clinic hours?
Yeah, I think I've sort of answered again that some of the other questions, but maybe one thing mainly, I guess that I felt when I was in going through clinic as well in college, that I understand that students might not feel that they're ready for that clinical experience. Might be a little bit nervous and anxious about that, but we've all been there. We've all been at that stage where the college thinks you're ready to start learning some more and getting some real world experience. So be excited about being able to come into clinic, and it should be a really exciting time to learn, and you will get your confidence and a lot more knowledge actually in those clinic hours than you probably ever will in 2 years of studying. So be ready and keen and excited to learn, and that confidence will come.
Yeah,
you might feel
definitely.
confident initially, but you absolutely will get that the more
Yeah,
experience you get.
yeah, yeah. Awesome.
So so
Yeah,
initially as an observer, so I'm not going to throw the students into the hot seat straight away. I go, oh, what do I do? So I would envisage them sort of observing some of my initial and follow-up consultations, and me sort of reviewing those cases afterwards, and then helping to the student to get that confidence to actually sit in the driver's seat
yes.
and take some of those consultations. So just ask lots of questions, even if you think that they are silly or just basic questions. The practitioner is there to help you learn, but they don't know what you don't know. So
Yeah,
ask lots and lots of questions, and then you'll be able to learn even more. So
yeah,
I
definitely.
think they're the
Yeah,
main things. And for students, congratulations on choosing Switch on Health and your journey as a student, and getting closer to finishing with your clinic hours. And hopefully I look forward to meeting some of you.
awesome, awesome. Some really good advice there. Thanks, Ross. And it is such a very exciting time for the students to, embark on their clinic hours, and having a supervisor who can, help them through that journey and help them to, realize that we're all real people and we've all been there. And just like you said, I think, the questioning is really important, both for, your questioning for when they're up to doing their own consultations, but also questioning of the supervisor, just gathering as much information. And that's what we do as naturopaths, is always gathering so much information and learning, and we're always constantly learning. So yeah, that's really awesome. So thank you so much, Ross, for your words of wisdom and advice for our students coming through. And yeah, we look forward to dealing with you more and sending students your way. And yeah, thank you again for your support for Switch on Health. And yeah, really appreciate it.
Yeah, happy to help you guys and the students too. So thank you for asking me.
Awesome. Thanks, Ross.